Random thoughts on the empty nest. To gifts to help you enter the second half of life smoothly. When people reach middle age, they are lonely, confused, trapped, restless, and even have broken relationships. Afraid of growing old, afraid of divorce, afraid of unemployment, trying to seize the tail of youth, but can't find the exit of life. The empty nest period is a necessary process for a marriage to grow old together. When the children have all left the nest, the couple must first learn to rely closely on each other. Before the empty nest, Chinese couples' topics and lifestyles often revolved around their children. Once the children leave home, if they do not learn and do not force themselves to cooperate with their partners to learn to live a close life as a couple, the topics of the couple will naturally become more and more likely. The less they are, the more their relationship will become like roommates. How to break through the embarrassment of marriage during the empty nest period and let the couple get along well. In fact, empty nest is a foreign term, which means that the children have grown up and left home, and only the elderly parents are left at home. The Chinese describe the empty nest with a sense of accomplishment, indicating that their children have been successful in raising them. Of course, there are various criteria for children's success. Children's success here generally means that the children have found a good job and have gotten married and started a family. Empty nest in the United States generally means that the children have left home to study or work, and the children may not have got married and started a family. Nearly half of adult children in the United States now live at home. I wonder if this counts as an empty nest period. It is not counted as the empty nest period, but the children live at home. It is not counted as the empty nest period, but the children have grown up. Some have graduated from college, and some have started working. The main reason for living at home is that houses and rents are too expensive now. Of course, the epidemic has also led to many children living at home. On the one hand, they can save rent, and on the other hand, they can work remotely. It is also difficult for children nowadays. House prices are very high and rents are also very high. It is almost impossible to buy a house with one's own salary. Homeowners are afraid of falling house prices, but we must also understand the difficulties faced by young people. There is data showing that young Americans today are less happy than young people in the past, and I can understand that. My children have all gone away to study and work, so we are an empty nest family. Thinking back to the past 10 years or so, when I grew up with my children, now that they have all left home, I feel a sense of loss and expectation. I want to record this feeling, so I wrote this paragraph. First, there are 3 different stages of life. Decades of life include different stages. There is a philosophical concept that when people are young, they walk on 4 legs crawling, then on 2 legs, and finally on 3 legs with a cane. My understanding is that when people are young, they are like animals, unable to stand and walk, and lack knowledge and ideas. When they grow up, they become humans, and when they grow old, they need external help. Modern society has studied people more and divided life into different stages: childhood, adolescence, youth, middle age, old age and old age, etc. In order to correspond to this theme, we divide life into 3 stages: the stage of being a child, the stage of being a parent, and the stage of enjoying one's own life. 1. The stage of being a child is from birth to marriage and starting a family. At this time, we are the children of our parents, and our parents take care of our lives and growth. Standing at 30, this stage lasts about 30 years. As children, our goal is to make our parents happy. On the one hand, parents should be proud and happy for their children's efforts and achievements. On the other hand, they also hope to have good money-making skills so that they can support themselves and their families in the future without becoming a burden to their parents. This is the stage of physical growth and knowledge. We grow from infants to adults with the guidance and help of our parents. 2. The stage of being a parent is when we are married, have a family, and have children of our own. At this time, we ourselves have become the parents of our children. Our task is to support ourselves and our children, and create a good living environment, learning environment, and growth environment for our children. As parents, our first priority is to provide a safety net for our children. This safety net sounds simple, but is actually very difficult. As a parent, first of all, your children need a place to live, food to eat, clothes to wear, etc. If parents don't go out to work, How will the family have money for daily expenses? If both parents go out to work, who will look after the children, take them to school and participate in extracurricular activities? First-generation immigrant parents living abroad also face the pressure of working status. Without a green card or foreign citizen, work is very stressful. When you have no identity, you will have to leave the country if you lose your job. This is not a difficult situation that anyone wants to face. If both people work, the pressure on income will be less, but the pressure on taking care of children will be very high. When my children were little, it was stressful for two people to take them to kindergarten and back from school. At that time, I wondered whether those who were single or without children could have more time to devote to work. However, the fact is surprising. People who are married and have a family have an average income much higher than those who are single. On the other hand, it is easy to understand that only when you have a family and children do you have a sense of responsibility. Only when you work hard can you get things done. There are definitely people who can do things seriously without pressure, but they are very few. The empty nest concept mentioned here does not apply to people who are unmarried or infertile. I don't want to say whether this kind of life is correct. I remember there was a report in the Wall Street Journal. Someone followed a graduating class of nurses for decades and found that the physical health, mental health, and personal wealth of single nurses who were not married were not as good as those who were married, classmates with children. There is a comment in the article that ranks happy life, happy marriage, single women, single men, and unhappy marriages. That is to say, a happy marriage is better than a single life, and a female single life is better than a male single life. So many women choose to be single, while men like to get married. In the face of an unhappy marriage, it is better to be single. Choosing to be single can avoid an unhappy marriage, but it also cannot experience a happy marriage. Marriage is a big field. It is not the purpose of this article, so I will stop here. Second, look back on life after the empty nest. Confucius said, at 40, one is not confused. At 50, one understands the destiny of heaven. At 60, one's ears are attuned. When our children leave home to study, we are basically in our 40s. Looking back on our lives, it is inevitable that we will have some emotions. First of all, we have a deep understanding that people make plans and God makes things happen. There are many rich people in the world, many powerful people, and people with successful careers, but there are also many ordinary people like us. I think I study and work very hard. I also know that many of my classmates and friends also study and work very hard, but the number of rich people in the world is only such a small proportion, such as 0.1% or 1%, and most of the rest are ordinary people. According to the law of large numbers and statistics, large groups basically tend to be normally distributed. The basic principle of normal distribution is that most people are in the central part of the curve, and there are very few at both ends. At the same time, there are still many uncontrollable parts of life. Many successful people in China tend to attribute their success to their own efforts, while many successful people in the United States attribute their success to luck. Clearly, effort is a necessary but not sufficient condition for success. Each of us is affected by the tide of the times. For example, in a war-torn era, you may not even be able to save your life. So how can you talk about success? Looking back, after 10 years of turmoil, many people's lives were delayed. In addition, the choice of industry is more important than hard work. Many people say that if you want to succeed, you must persevere. I don't think this concept of success may hold true. For example, people who repair typewriters, people who repair clocks, as well as cobblers, blacksmiths, and other industries in the early years have all been eliminated by the times. If you stick to your industry, you may not even be able to eat in the end. And there is no talk of success. After the US financial crisis in 2008, the real estate industry suffered a huge blow. Many people switch careers to other industries and become successful. Continuously learning new and useful knowledge is the best investment against inflation. Everyone's outlook on life, values, and level of cognition are also different. Also, emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. The concept of technical experts in Chinese culture may not actually be suitable for the current concept of scientific and technological development. If a person masters a unique technology, Unless he runs his own company, it will put pressure on his boss and colleagues. At the same time, it is difficult to always be ahead of others in technology. After all, one person's ability is limited. A person's real ability is the ability to solve problems and learn new knowledge. At the same time, you need to have a circle of friends who can provide technical support to each other. Solutions to many problems rise from mutual discussions. Third, believe in our children. In the United States, when children reach the age of 18, they become adults and have their own right to vote and make their own decisions. Cultivating children's outlook on life and values should begin before they go to college. After going to college, it is time for children to learn from social life. There are many American children who struggle in college. This is also the reason why many children are mentally depressed in college. In fact, this is also easy to understand. When the children are at home, they go to a good school district, the teachers teach carefully, the parents arrange their daily lives, and the children's grades are good. After going to university, especially at good universities, the teachers may be famous for their scientific research, but they may not be interested in teaching. After leaving your parents, you need to arrange your own time and daily life, which requires self-control. It is also difficult to maintain good grades in the class when facing strong competitors in college. The students in good universities are all the top students in their respective high schools. After they get to college, the cards have to be reshuffled. It is impossible for everyone to be among the top 10% of students. At this time, you need to persist and not give up. Manage your time well, develop good living habits, learn to study on your own, and lay the foundation for future development. Life is determined by our habits. Good habits improve our physical and mental health every day, such as brushing our teeth after every meal, flossing, and taking a walk after meals. Bad habits include smoking, drinking sugary drinks, and staying up at night to check social media. Accumulated over a long period of time, both good and bad habits will produce results. I remember that my son went home for the summer vacation and invited some friends to a concert at a nearby university. They set off in the afternoon and were not home yet at 9 p.m. I started to worry after 9 o'clock, but I didn't dare to call or send messages for fear of affecting his driving. After insisting on waiting until 12 o'clock, I decided not to wait any longer and went to bed by myself, because I usually go to bed before 11 o'clock. At this time, I comforted myself that when the child grows up, he will take care of himself and trust the child. Therefore, we need to trust their judgment and decision-making. They have their own lives, and we cannot follow them for the rest of our lives. Parents and children have only gone through a journey together in their respective life journeys. What we can do is to cultivate their safety awareness, judgment, values, and execution ability. These need to be done when children are young and are much more important than academic performance. Fourth, live the rest of your life well. A good child spends his childhood with his parents. We strive for our parents' joy and pride, and of course we embrace our parents' values. Now, we are empty nest parents and need to live the rest of our lives. The two most important gifts parents give their children are to give them the best education and not to be a burden to their children. After the child goes to college, as long as we pay the college tuition, we will give the child the first gift. Now is the time to try to give your children a second gift and not become a burden to them. This gift is more difficult than the first one. The basic requirement for the second gift is that the parents themselves are physically and mentally healthy. Only with good health can you take care of yourself. Health is the foundation of happiness. As long as you are healthy physically and mentally, nothing else matters. Otherwise, everything else is fantasy. How to prepare the second most important gift? You need to pay attention to the following points. First, you need to have a grateful heart. Gratitude is the healthiest physical and mental behavior in life. Everyone's life is a glass half full. The grateful person sees that the glass of wine is still half full, and the complaining person sees that the glass of wine is only half full. No one's life in this world is smooth sailing, and the lives of us new immigrants are even more full of ups and downs. To be grateful is to see the beautiful parts of life. Discovering something new to be grateful for every day will cultivate the habit of looking at the world positively. Second, you need to get enough sleep. Machines need regular maintenance, and the maintenance of the human body is sleep. Staying up late is harmful to your body and work. I hate working overtime very much. Things should be done to improve efficiency, not to waste time. In addition, when you are not clear-headed, you will not only be inefficient when doing things, but also prone to making mistakes. I once read an article that recalling a good time in the past can help you sleep before going to bed. Or when you wake up at night, recall a good time, including the sun and wind, the sound of water, the sound of machines, waves, etc., and you will fall asleep easily. 3. Eat healthy food. We all like to eat delicious food, but delicious food may contain unhealthy ingredients that affect our health. Those spices can certainly change the taste, but they may not be beneficial to health. Food that is natural, fresh, and not overcooked is good for your health. Our stomach is like a car's gas tank, and our hunger is like a car's gas tank light. Eating too many overcooked foods can cause our gas tank pilot light to malfunction. 4th, it is necessary to develop good habits. Eating, sleeping, exercising, being grateful, etc. all need to be done continuously to produce good results. Developing good habits requires a process. For example, start with small things. Floss one tooth first, or tidy up a corner of the room. For example, start in pairs and floss before each brushing session. For example, everyone can do it together. Go for a walk with friends or family after dinner every day, etc. Health and wellness is a big topic, and of course there are different opinions and philosophies. Anyway, after the empty nest, we enter the second half of our lives. Life is perfect only when you have lived the second half well. A healthy life is a successful life.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.